Well, as we discussed yesterday, the weather did indeed change. Came a little earlier than they said it was going to. Not terrible yet, but when we get those sudden changes, it gets real icy, and we could get 2 or 3 inches of snow in a hurry, and it's really difficult for people to get around. In that, it seems like some people lose their driving skills every winter, every summer, and then when it comes to winter again, they have to learn all again. So hopefully the roads don't get too bad. It did change a little quicker. It's just covering the ground like a skiff, a 1/4 inch. So the problem was when you get a couple of inches and it really starts to impact driving. But it's a lot colder than it was yesterday. I think we certainly take good health for granted. And while I don't think I'm in bad health, certainly this Bell's palsy has affected me. I can't breathe properly, and then when you get a cold or anything, that just amplifies the effect, and I just can't breathe. And then this cold air and anything that I have to exert energy in is just difficult. So I think probably a lot of us know that we take these things for granted until it hits you smack in the face, and then you realize, oh, well, maybe I should eat better. Maybe I should do more exercise, and all the things that you could list. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with Bell's palsy or a lot of other things that people struggle with, but certainly we should appreciate the health that we have in the moments that we have it. I can't see it, but it's rigged up in there somewhere. Shortened across. When it broke, I had to tie it up. Just never took the time to fix it right. Zapping somewhere. Look, y'all loud and impatient. Just give me a second. I'm trying to get there. And then I'm going to have to wrestle you to get there. Just calm down, buds. Just calm down. I got to move some stuff out of the way. I'm coming, buddy. Get off that fence where you get zapped. I'm going to have to steady things up here a little bit because the wind's knocking you around. Yesterday and the day before, you saw me roll hay bales. One just rolled down through the field. Then yesterday I rolled one all the way out where the cows are with what was left of the snowdrifts. Today I'm going to attempt, hopefully, it usually works, to drive my digging bar through a bale. Of course, the cows have gotten into this one, so these are a little bit out of sorts, but hopefully I can just drag it to the bull. But anyway, drive my digging bar through here, hook the chain up to it, and roll or drag it up to the bull. Then I'll have to physically roll it up there. So obviously, just using what you got. That digging bar has a kind of a spade end on it. Doesn't have a hammer end on it, so you can't really hit it with a hammer. That chunk of wood's not going to last, so I'm not going to be able to do it that way too many more times. I think I'm going to move the bull down closer to the house. That way I can roll these that way by hand, or I just got to devise a better way to get that bar through, or a bar through. But you can see how it works there. And I don't have any payments, so you could get a tractor to do that. I don't have the money to saved up to buy the tractor, and then I'd have to work on the tractor and all that stuff. I don't really have too much of a need for a tractor. I've got a truck. I can do some things. I don't have the system completely worked out perfect, but we'll get there eventually. If not, we'll just keep trying. Life would be boring if I just had everything worked out. And sometimes things are just a bit of a comedy. You can get aggravated and struggle, and that's okay. I mean, it's going to dictate how your mood is. Are there easier ways to do things? Certainly. Do I have the capabilities? Not completely. Now, if you're calling me names and making fun of me for the struggle I just went through that seems unnecessary, I still got to roll it up. I got to roll it up a little grade right here. I got to roll it out of the way, get the truck out of the way, roll it up a little grade to get to the gate. That's why this bull needs to go way down there. And then if I had to roll those bales by hand, I could. There's shelter down there for him if he even needed it. But he's a lot more accessible than all the way out here. This is like, I don't know, 1,000 feet from my house. For most people, maybe that doesn't seem too bad. And 95% of the time, it's not so bad. But when we get snow, and you've seen the snow drifts, or you can go back and look at the videos with the snow drifts, when we get snow, it comes. I mean, we'll get a dumper, and it'll be impossible. I'll have to tear the bales apart to get to him. So this is just not going to work. I should have had some of those bales out here if I was going to keep them here. So a lot of lessons. And we've used square bales for years, and that's problematic too without a machine. Like, we don't have a side-by-side, and the truck's not easy access to, and you don't want to compact and tear up your pastures too much. So we store square bales. We store square bale. Can I even get it? In the barn. You can see it there behind me. Right there. We store the square bales in there usually. And that usually works out. But I was going to bale graze, and I'm still working on that. I'm still doing that. But as much as I don't want that, I forget what Greg Judy calls it, heavy metal. I don't know what he calls it. Whatever he calls it, something about tractors and things. That's all well and good. But I don't have one. It's difficult to move things around. So continuing to try to develop a way to do this without the investment of thousands of dollars in machinery. It can be done. It's a lot easier with the machines. But I've just got to develop a system. If we had, as much as we don't like that, if we had a centralized location, I guess Joe Salatin does it. Joe Salatin brings his animals into a barn and feeds them on deep bedding and then brings the pigs in. We don't have that situation, but we could do that. And then that would be a situation where we could just have the hay right there, shake it down to them. They could come. We could still open some pastures up. We could either keep them confined completely on the deep bedding, or we could leave them access to all this so that they wouldn't impact one area quite as much. So there's some things to consider. Storing the hay, transporting the hay, feeding the animals. If you're going to do it on the deep bedding, you have to be prepared to have the wood chips and sawdust to put the deep bedding down. So there's a lot of variables involved to doing this without the use of machinery. Well, I'm not sure if I convinced either one of us not to buy a tractor. Those things are way waterlogged. This is not the setup. It does good to show you the struggle. Like, you don't have to have machines, but they sure do make things nice. And everybody says, well, you don't need a gym membership. I don't need to exercise in the morning. And let's be honest, I don't have a gym membership anyway, and I probably wasn't going to exercise. Now, I did get the exercise whether I wanted it or not, but I'm not sure if I benefited from rolling that hay out here or not. And so, is it just a pride thing in your head? I mean, obviously, it's a financial thing. Can't just go buy a tractor, just, sink all that money here. I mean, we're trying to do things in a frugal way, not to have tractors and not to have machines, and try to show that you can do things, in a self-sufficient way. Now, I'm trying to be a little bit extreme here. I've got the bull out in this pasture here, clear at the end of the property. He's got a nice building here for shelter if he wants it. He's separated from the cows. But even in my current situation, I could just put up some poly wire for the cows and bring them to the hay. That road's a little bit crazy when it snows, but they would still come to it, I think. This guy, he could move a couple pins down where it would be easier to get to, bring the hay to him. He's going to move all the way to the other end next to the house. I got chickens that still need to have a coop. So do I have time to be fighting this hay like this as much as I need the exercise? I mean, I'm going to feel, my lungs might not appreciate it with all this, breathing in all this cold air, trying to battle that, and I can't breathe very well anyway. My lips are all chapped because of can't breathe correctly, but hopefully that Bell's palsy will pass one of these days. But in the meantime, we did get a victory. We got the hay out here to him. He's going to be fed for days, couple weeks now, probably. Off of that, we'll just monitor that and see how far that goes. The cows are going to need hay in a couple more days, so hopefully we don't get another blowing snow. But can it be done? Yes. Let's not lie and say that it's enjoyable. That waterlogged bale, who knows how much it is. And I mean, I'm no strong man, but I'm not a little guy either, so I'm not sure that people that didn't have a little, I mean, I've worked construction a long time. I'm used to lifting heavy things, but I'm not sure. Certainly it would take a few women to do that. And if you're a smaller guy, it's going to take a couple guys to do that. And that's not any testament to me. That's just to show how much energy it's going to take to get that here, because it tuckered me. I mean, that's all I wanted. But anyway, we got it here. It's snowing and blowing, kind of in the middle of sticking to the ground here. I don't know if it's sticking to the roads yet or not, but I have had enough. I'm soaked from head to toe from pushing that bale around. I think I've got everything done out here that I need to do. The dogs and the chickens, potentially. I think I'm tapping out. Y'all have a good day. Love you.